Welcome to Dynamics of Dialogue, your one-stop shop for peace and love on the airwaves, a safe space for people of color and our allies. Join us every week as we have real dialogue with people going through real life. Your dynamic, your dialogue. Come get some.
Good afternoon. I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful day. My name is Ella Shea Farmer of Mad Queen Media, and I am here with Rebel Queen, Takesha Wideman Smith of
Hope Health and Wellness.
Hope Health and Wellness.
Yes.
There we go. Cool. And I'm also here with Kiki Perry of Beautiful Ones. And the topic of today's show is, how long should I wait? Generally speaking about marriage. There's been a lot of discussion on marriage, if you're with the person you should commit to. We've been having discussions about women, specifically black women, settling for struggle love. Struggle love, holding down your man. And it's looking like it's getting frowned on by women. But some of us are defending it. So I just want to ask, I'm here. Luckily, I get to be here with three women who have experienced marriage. I myself have never been married. More so because I haven't found that person yet. And I do want to ask the women that I'm with, what do you think about struggle love? How long do you think you should cooperate with someone? Let's start with Rebel Queen.
Oh, man, you had to pick on me first.
I
I'm
did.
sitting here doing everything I can not to say something smart about that comment you made about you have not found the right one yet.
Yeah, that's
Because I guarantee you probably have and kicked his ass.
I have. Oh man. But the thing is, I actually told somebody, don't even do it. Like before you even hop down on that knee, I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Oh wow!
I wouldn't do it. Don't even do it. How come that sage not lit? Let's light some sage. Get some sage in here. Let's get some sage burning. Sage.
Okay, I will do that. I promise you. I'll answer the question and then I'll get that sage lit because we're gonna need it by the time. I think. Excuse me, y'all. I'm recovering from a cold. Struggle love. I think struggle love. I think a lot of us are susceptible to it. A lot of us who have felt like we didn't find love in our lives growing up, we fall into that struggle love trap. Mm-hmm. So I know I have been there. I have fought my way through that trap, and I have been married. And I will say that it was an experience. But I will also say this, because I knew my ex-husband for 3 years before we got married. I will say this. I'm not really, I know 3 years is, I think it's an okay amount of time. I love those glasses. But I don't really know when you are married and you get a chance to talk to other married women and find out the shit that they go through.
I was just thinking it. I'm sorry, but it's all a struggle.
It's all a struggle.
It's all a struggle. Life is a struggle.
I don't really think it. Yeah. When you know somebody, when you marry somebody who has not yet discovered themselves, who is not authentic with themselves, it doesn't really matter, or who is intentionally hiding a part of themselves.
They're not transparent.
It doesn't really matter. You can know that person for 30 years and you
will
never know.
So true.
Who that person is.
Yeah.
You will never know. And that's how you can be married to a person for 30 years and find out they're a serial killer.
Or psychopath.
Because they got, it's like they have these routines. They know you. They study. Right. So really, I think it just depends on the person.
So let's define struggle, because I do like the fact that you mentioned all the different struggles. Because yes, it's not going to be a walk in the park. So we have spiritual struggles, we have financial struggles, we have emotional struggles,
physical.
you know. And I think that, well, I know with me being, I'll be honest, I'm 34, never been married, have one child. I've been under pressure, just social pressure for not being married. So it's a struggle for me because if I find someone that is older than me or younger than me, they have a certain level of expectation socially to maintain before they feel like they can even be my husband. Because if they don't have X, Y, and Z in order, how can they provide? So at this point, I'm looking at older men. That doesn't necessarily mean they're fit.
This is true.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're more responsible.
This is true.
And that don't necessarily mean they're not going to make you struggle too. So, Takesha.
Yes.
What are some of the social things that would affect that you can speak from your marriage that affected the situation?
Hell at all. I mean, you know, when you talk about socially, other people's perspective, other people's expectations, are just some social aspects that can impact a marriage. But first, let me say this: we all have some amount of baggage that you come into any relationship with that is a struggle. What I like and what I know is, and what I talk about with my good girlfriends and with you guys and everybody else, is when that struggle becomes catatonic, when it becomes toxic, that dives over into something else, something completely different. And I'm just realistic that no matter what our day is like, what our life is like, there's always going to be a struggle. But when it crosses that line of toxic, and that what that looks like is domestic violence, potentially putting you at risk for certain STIs, infidelity, those types of things. You have to operate from a different lens at that point. You got to take different steps.
And I think that we also have to recognize that it's not just we look for domestic violence and we know what that looks like. Well, what we don't know what looks like is emotional.
Emotional abuse, which is more deadly
and
more traumatizing than the physical component. And it does
you still
last
suffer
longer.
from it in your next relationship and so on and so forth.
It just carries over when you don't deal with it. But socially, I'm not a big person on appearance and what other people should define for me what my marriage looks like. Me and my husband, we define our marriage. And kind of like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, we're determined and we've made up our minds to be life partners. Okay? We're going to figure this shit out.
Right.
Together, because I'm 44 years old and I love my family. I love him. I don't always like him. But I love him. Okay? And that's the father of my kids. And we're going to figure this shit out one way or other.
I'm so there with you.
I'm
right there. That says a lot because I've been in 2 marriages. The first marriage, I waited 6 years to marry him.
Okay.
Going down the aisle, I knew I shouldn't have married him. He was not a good guy. He was abusive. Second marriage, I knew him less than 6 months and married him. And I've been with him 18 years. It will be 19 years in March.
Wow.
Now, all those 19 years have not been great.
Right.
But we gonna figure this shit out. So if you gotta go upstairs and I gotta go downstairs, you gotta live in the basement. We gonna be separated, but we gonna be separated under one roof.
Under one roof.
Do each other 6 months?
Yes.
Because it don't take that long.
It don't take that long.
Especially, I think, when you at a certain place in life.
Yes.
And you know what you want.
Marriage is work. Bottom line. Point blank, period.
A relationship is work. Dating is work. You know, but when you step into a marriage, that mask eventually has to come off.
Right.
Because you got to take that bitch off to wash your face.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you can no longer hide behind that mask that you may wear the majority of the time during a dating episode. But marriage is the real deal, Holyfield. And especially if you pay attention.
And I don't think that, and I know that lots of times, like in the place that we used to go to worship together, there was a thing where, you know, people kind of relied on the pastor to kind of, you know,
guide them.
And I don't think that people should rely on other people. Cause I can recall a couple that same thing. They knew each other 6 months. And they, you know, the pastor didn't want to marry them. No, that's not. They're still married
Exactly.
today. Still.
Wow.
But the bottom line is the pastor's man.
Exactly.
He's a person, right.
That's all.
And for me, what's going to guide me is between me and my husband is our relationship with the Creator.
Right.
I don't need a third party to come in and help facilitate that.
Right.
I just don't. Now, hats off. And I ain't shaming or throwing shade to people that do it.
Right.
But that's just not for me and my kids.
Right.
Well, and I think you have to be wary of any third, whether it's family, whether it's your mama, your daddy,
or even a counselor.
A counselor or therapist.
Exactly.
Because they don't know the intricate details of you
everything
and the nuances of your relationship.
That's
they
so
only
true.
know what you're telling them.
Right.
And if you're coming in and you're not disclosing everything,
you talk about the bad.
Well, and not only that, again, like Keisha said, this is still just a person,
right?
All right, and often you could be triggering some thoughts and some old feelings and past relationships with them,
right?
You don't know what people have
and it's
been
called
through.
Countertransference, and all my counselors and therapists, you know exactly what I'm talking about,
right?
And it happens often. So no, I don't need a third party to come in and help me facilitate. Like I said, we're gonna figure this shit out.
Exactly.
Hey, Kiki, I do want to ask you, because you did talk a little bit about being in an abusive marriage. Because a lot of times, like we said, we qualify struggle in a lot of different ways.
Exactly.
Rich people got struggle love too.
Oh, most definitely.
So,
they got struggles.
Yeah. So we have situations like I don't know if you all watch Love and Hip Hop.
Yes, I watched.
Been following Kim Bella and Jewel.
Yes.
So you know the background a little bit. You know,
Yes.
she finally got her man, even though he's on his way to jail. And she put up with addiction. She put up with abuse, physical, emotional. Pretty sure, he probably was cheating. I'm not gonna quote nobody directly, but I would probably bet my bottom dollar.
Probably have children outside.
She's putting up with multiple families, But she finally got her man, and she is very happy.
Now, does she really have her man?
Well, that's a good question.
It seems as if the goal for her was marriage, and I do want to talk a little bit about goals,
right?
But that was her goal to get that man to marry her,
right?
So she did all of these things. Did she achieve her goal? We don't know, but I do want to ask, since you did speak, about going through domestic abuse,
right?
When did you realize that was not going to work for you?
Actually, I was in the marriage a long time. What it was is I had 3 children by him, and I wanted that family unit. I grew up in a family unit. I had a mom, a stepdad. They had been married for years. So all I knew was the family unit. It wasn't the fact that he was abusing me, punching me in my face, degrading me, having multiple affairs in the church while we were both in the church. But the thing was, I was being taught by the pastor of how marriage is supposed to be over the pulpit. So the teaching was you're supposed to stay in a marriage no matter what.
No matter what.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, okay, you're not giving the woman that is being abused an out.
Right.
Because you're making it seem like God is going to hate you if you leave this person because you're married to him.
Right.
But let me let you ladies know right now, God is not a God that wants us to be beat down, degraded. He's just not that guy. Abused.
You're his daughter. So
exactly.
Why
would he want us to be that way? He doesn't.
That's right.
So all of these women out there, whether you're in the church, out of the church, you are not to be misused and abused.
Don't let anybody make you feel like that's what God created you for.
Exactly.
It's to tolerate that shit.
Exactly.
No. If anything, that contradicts his message and his word.
Exactly.
It contradicts love.
Where's love in that?
Yeah.
There's no love in that at all.
Now, on the flip side, I will say this. Because we talk about, often when we're talking about domestic violence, we're talking about women being abused. But there were at least 2 or 3 times I can think of that I put my hands on my husband. And one of the times I pulled out a knife on him. And I was wrong. And that's something we don't talk about. Because I grew up in an area in a time where a female could put her hands on a dude. And again, men were not expected to hit or to put their hands back on a woman. So it gave me this delusional sense of power that I could put my hands on my husband, and then for him not to retaliate, for him not to protect himself, any of that. And I also, I want to share that because I want to tell women, and if it's just one woman that I'm speaking to, and if you're doing that, you need to stop.
Right.
Everybody should keep their hands to themselves.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I get it. My husband and most men are a lot bigger than you. They're stronger than you. So if they want to, what do you call it? If they want to wrap their arms around you or, hold you down, it's easier for them to do that,
right,
to protect themselves. But we should not be putting our hands on men as well.
That's true.
Well, I read somewhere that women only do that to men they don't respect.
No?
I don't know about that.
I have, mainly I want to talk about the different attitudes that women are supposed to act towards marriage and different behaviors we're supposed to accept from husbands.
Okay.
Because in the situation like you just explained, if you were talking to somebody else and he would have retaliated against you,
right,
they would have been like, put him in jail.
Here's what that does. What you read, I don't know where that came from, but that makes it about him and not about me. I'm the one with the fucking issue.
Right.
Not him. The person who decides to put their hands on the victim or the other individual, they don't have any issues. So if I didn't respect him, that's not on him. That's on me. I need to check myself.
Right.
Exactly.
And we do that too often.
And a victim, whether man or female, they have the right to protect themselves.
Thank you.
And if it's by pushing you and you hit yourself and hit your head, okay, but I got to protect myself.
That falls under, we've talked about this on other shows, Maslow hierarchy of needs.
Right.
Your obligation is to yourself first.
Right.
Okay. And being a mother of 3 kids, 2 of them are boys, I teach them under no circumstances do you put your hands on a woman. However, I need for you to walk away and live to tell what happened.
Right.
Okay. So that means you turn around, you walk away, you don't put your hands on her. But if it's some girl, she got a gun, she's about to harm you, a knife or whatever, you protect yourself by any means necessary.
Right. Right.
Period.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you have to you have to make sure you are okay.
Yeah, you do. You need to be able to walk away to tell your side of the story and recover.
Exactly.
And how do we tell people not to do that? Men and women. We don't, but I just wanted to share that was something that could go both ways.
I'm glad you did share that.
Yeah, because we don't talk about that. There's
probably someone that needs to hear that.
Yeah.
But what do you think are some of the reasons women are under pressure to marry or, stay married in a situation like that? Say you're going through, the marriage is not what you thought it was and you hit this point.
Children, finances.
And also women, even to this day, in this day and age, women are still validated by whether or not we have a man.
Exactly.
And I
part of that social construct that you was asking me about.
That is so true.
I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody say to me, "Well, at least I got a man." I'll be like, "I want to deck you in the face."
Right.
So I'm like less than.
But do you have a man?
Right.
What's your definition of a man?
Do you have a man, or are you sharing your man with the rest?
Or do you have a project?
Right. How many women are you sharing your man with? Really?
Community.
Right. Or even aside from that, even aside from what her situation is, my worth as a woman should not be determined by whether or not I have a man in my life.
Or if you're married, no matter what your marital status is, that should not dictate your value or your worth within community. And I think you're right. When I talk to some girlfriends who are my age or older, and people find out they're not married, the first thing somebody says is, "What's wrong with you?"
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe she got her shit together. Maybe ain't nothing wrong with her.
Maybe she told everybody no up until this
point. And she got her shit together, like I said, and she's not going to settle. Right.
Right.
So what?
The messages out there are so confusing because on one hand they're constantly being saying don't settle. And on the other hand, it's you need to do this to get a man. You need to do that. You need to do this. And at the end of the day, getting a man, I used to think, until I got married, I used to think getting a man was this really big thing. Then I realized afterwards, I was like, most of these dudes would be naked and in the dark.
Exactly.
It was not for the woman in their lives.
Real talk. Real talk. They are literally they're not looking for wives. They're looking for mothers that they can have sex with.
I posted something on my Facebook page, I think last week or the week before, about women not being rehabilitation centers for men. It's not your job to come in and mother him, fix everything that was broken about him what you want is a partner, not a project.
Yeah.
And that kind of stemmed from that pastor that came out and said his wife came in and gave birth to him.
The lid,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you know,
John Gray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, he said
Yeah,
something
whole
I
segment.
didn't agree with. You know, I've given birth 3 times, and birth is something that is, for me, it is a spiritual. It's something that it's a privilege, and for me, I got to hold hands with the Creator in giving birth to those 3 kids. I didn't give birth to my fucking husband.
Right.
His mammy did.
Right.
And I'm not going to take on that damn responsibility.
Exactly. It's not your job.
Yeah. Are you
It's
fucking
not
kidding
your
me?
job. I was
Excuse
not
me?
created to
His
do that.
mammy did.
Exactly. His mammy.
Yeah.
Real. That is real.
Yeah,
That is
and
real.
my responsibility is to raise these 3
And
to be functional,
Exactly.
not your grown ass
Exactly.
your grown ass
I
son.
was just about to say that.
Thank you,
And
sorry.
I'm supposed to raise you, and then you're supposed to go off and be with your wife.
right.
You're supposed to be raised. You're supposed to be grown.
Yes.
So your wife shouldn't even have to play that role, because if I did my job when you left, you should be capable of handling your own business where the wife won't have to play the
Right,
role as
right.
the mother.
Right.
Right.
And what that tells me is he went into this marriage, and a lot of people do. I did too, where you wasn't really whole, or where you should have been, or at a level where you should have been to even be married. And again, that's something I've been guilty of myself, even in coming into my marriage now. Not ready for marriage, but was told and pressured and forced, because I'd already had a child,
Yeah.
a child
Oh,
out of
yes,
wedlock.
yes, of
What
course.
y'all doing? Y'all just playing house? You
Yeah.
know, it's time for you to get married, and that's what I did. So I get it, but to then come out and say, you know, this woman gave birth to me. Are you fucking kidding me?
But you know, a lot of the pressure for me after I had my baby was coming from people that were not married and had children out of wedlock, because they felt like if I had a man, I wouldn't have to deal with what they had to deal with.
Oh no.
What?
Even when you
I'm like, I'm raising another child.
Right, because even
Pretty
when
much,
you do
and that's what
right,
she did. That's
Yeah.
what to me when he said that, and I can relate to that, because at times it felt like, you know, damn, I got 4 kids, you know. But so what she had, I think they have two or three kids. 2 kids. So she just had a 3rd baby. She just had him first. He's her oldest, and then she had the other 2 after that. I was not impressed with that. That was something that was, to me, people in those positions and situations, you have to be mindful of the message.
That's
that
what I'm
you're-
saying,
yeah.
because you give that message to thousands of people.
That
You get what I'm
that
saying?
spiritual struggle of.
Yes.
That
that's
spiritual
it
struggle
right
of.
there.
You're telling me that I'm supposed to spiritually struggle,
Right.
Sacrifice
So
and
that- so
compromise
that-
yourself.
you know,
Right.
so that we can have,
No, it's really for him.
and it's for him.
It's
because
for him. There's no way.
And
It's him.
and it's a disservice, even because then when we do meet a man that is really capable,
We don't
and
know
then
what to we don't know how to
know
handle
what
that.
to do with
We can't
And
even
most of the
recognize
time
it.
we mess that up.
we mess it up because
mess
he's
it up.
strong. He doesn't need that type of nurturing.
Yeah.
from us.
and we don't even understand
We
how to.
don't understand that he doesn't
how to
need
not
nurturing
nurture in that
and
manner.
Because he got a man
from
there.
I
us.
promise you,
raised
when I
him.
first got with my second husband, he was that man, and I struggled with that. And he sat me down one day and was like, "I'm not him.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
I'm not him. I don't need you to tell me."
He don't need you to come in and fix it.
Yes,
'Cause that's what
and
that
that's
is.
what I was doing.
Stop being his fix
I
it.
kept on trying to touch it and fix it and do this and try to figure it out. He said,
Let
"I'm
people
not
figure
him."
that shit out on their
He
own.
said, "I know what to do." Like he put me in my place, and I was like, "Okay."
Okay. All right.
Relieved, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, "Oh."
Yes.
You.
Yes.
He knew what he
And if you
wanted.
think
He knew
about
what he
it, that's the
wanted.
way it's supposed to be. And that's
Exactly.
what that's everything that I heard in his message. What's his name? Pastor
Pastor
Gray.
Gray.
And his wife. So now you've put some other shit on her plate.
Right.
That she has to go in and fix.
That's true.
In addition to her
Yeah.
own trauma,
That's
whatever
so
she had to
true.
deal with on her own. Now
It's-
she's taking on yours and the family, and it's expected, especially black women. We're supposed to take that in. We're supposed to take in all the family issues, heal everybody, and heal ourselves, and push on and smile the whole time.
And meanwhile, it's like pulling teeth to get a fucking foot rub.
Yeah. Yeah.
In addition, most black women are
Yeah.
bringing home the bacon to some
Yes.
extent. In addition to
Yes.
that, we're providing.
Yes.
So yes, it's just a little, and then you want me to put a husband on top of all of this?
Right,
That's what you think? I'm
slash
okay.
child. You know that you
Okay.
gotta give
All
birth
right.
to.
All right.
No,
Cool.
yeah, ladies, don't wait for that shit.
I'm 34.
Okay?
I've raised 3 men, and I'm 34.
See, yeah. Well, again, don't wait to raise a man.
And
You
I'm
know,
not married. I'm just
yeah.
saying, y'all, I'm not married.
Yeah.
Don't.
Now, I have a question for you. In raising those 3 men, did any of them?
They each went on to find the love of their life.
That's what
one
I'm
of them
saying.
literally got
So
married
you
2
put
years later.
You did all this investing, and then they find someone else. So she got him perfect.
Oh, he was ready.
You got him
I didn't
ready.
put up with. I wasn't
You
putting
get
up
what I'm
with.
saying?
So yeah, go on, do your thing.
And that's what your mammy. Yeah, and I can't keep saying that's what your mama's supposed
And
to do.
the reason I was able to stomach it because I was like, well, you know, some woman about to be okay because he ain't out here ruining no more lives, I guess. But they still in my DMs though. But that's another conversation. That's
you
another
was the best
conversation.
one. I should have married
I should have married you. Don't screenshot me. But yeah.
I have determined in 2019. Listen, all of this. I don't understand why it is for women not to screenshot these married men.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Start embarrassing these men.
And why is it bad on me? No, all y'all going on blast.
Yeah.
Everybody.
They got to go on blast
podcast.
because men are creatures of habit.
That's right.
And men will do and have been doing what they are allowed to do and get away with.
Right.
So if you expose them and hold them accountable,
exactly.
the shit
It'll
will stop.
Yes, we're gonna have a whole page. It's gonna be a whole page in the community just dedicated to that.
But what happens is we don't,
Right.
so they continue.
So they continue, right?
That's true.
There's no reason why it should be looked at as, but it's always looked at. I can't tell you how many times people are like, no, don't do that to him, baby.
Oh yeah, coddling him the whole step of the way.
Wow.
Well, you know, he just got a problem with women.
Yeah, and I can't be one of those women.
Exactly.
That he got a problem
He
with.
just got a
now
problem.
what? We got to step away from this culture of putting everybody else before us.
Oh man, that's what it is.
Like that is dysfunctional. It is unhealthy, and it leads you down a road to nowhere.
That's true.
And
Alright.
it sets the standard on how you're going to be treated.
Yeah,
Right.
No.
This is how if you don't put yourself first, why would anybody else?
Exactly.
Well, you know, this is where it gives us the opportunity to recognize how much power that we have as beings. You know, and again, and I don't mean to sound like really off the wire here, but again, we as women, we are powerful beings. We are the life force that life enters this world through, right?
Right.
Right. Life comes through our bodies.
Right.
And we rear these lives and we bring them up and we do. And we just talked
Right.
about how we raise our children and how we do have this power to influence the men in our lives. And,
yeah.
you know, and I think everybody has it, but we have the power to manifest so much. And I think when we take a hold of that ability and recognize, okay, I'm going to start showing up differently.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up differently in my relationships with men, with women. I'm going to start manifesting the things that I actually want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Then this is what I want. So I know for me, I'm just not taking on. I just had this. I'm glad we actually had this conversation because I was presented kind of with an opportunity. I think I discussed with you a little bit about the gentleman that was seeking the key to the kingdom.
Oh man.
Yeah, you don't get no keys and you ain't paying no bills.
Like, what do you mean? Sir?
No, contributing.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know,
And know that everybody, because like when Keisha said she showed up and you did the same thing, and as I'm beginning to continue that path, down that pathway, people will fall off. Because everybody ain't going to be happy with your transformative change.
They're not going to be
That
happy.
is
But
so
that ain't
true.
your responsibility.
And I promise you, it's a good thing.
It's a
Let
great
them fall
thing.
off.
Listen, when I got this far, I didn't even give everybody my number.
No.
They don't need it.
Yeah.
They don't need it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, but
Let's talk. Oh, no.
Just go ahead.
Let's talk about goals.
Okay.
Let's talk about goals because marriage is a goal for a lot of women. I wish that when I was growing up, and I had this conversation with my mother, and I will do this with my daughter. I was taught to be a wife when I was brought up. I was taught to prepare the house and clean and cook and scrub the refrigerator and mop the floors, all of that to have a house for a man. When I should have been taught to do that so my house would stay clean. You know, regardless of who in it.
Right.
So it took me, after raising the second man, it took me that point after, cleaning up after him, washing the tub out, cooking, pressing clothes, setting alarms for you to go to work. It took that point for me to realize, just clean your house because you need it clean.
Right.
Because I was literally finding myself
Yeah.
fighting the idea of taking care of this house for this worthless Negro.
Right.
I was really, and I was like,
I'm sure you was struggling.
it was
with
a
that.
struggle.
Especially
It
when
was,
he ain't doing what
and
he
I'm
supposed to do.
looking at you like you ain't doing.
And
Right.
is that really a goal? And
It's not.
And here's what I want to say about marriage. we have this idea of marriage, and we talked about this a little bit before the show started. Marriage is a business contract. It's a piece of paper that holds you liable. You get access to benefits and everything else. But when you really think about it, is that what you want, or do you want this life partnership?
Right.
That's what that should be your goal.
And even
because that marriage can
what
fall
are
apart.
you bringing to the table that you expect for this man to also have? You want a man with a 750 credit score, but you rolling 520. You know, or less. Like we really have to be aware of who we are and who we gonna attract.
Right. You know, that should be a goal. But cleaning up yourself.
Take care of yourself.
You marriage material.
Exactly.
That's what you want. And sustainable marriage material. That should be a goal. Make yourself a goal.
I was going to say, I think the goal needs to be making sure you're good before you try to bring someone else.
I had to be single. I had to be single for about a year or two at least. I had to be single to really value my connection with myself.
Yeah.
And that's when I started saying, no, I really just need you for this. I don't need you for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking care of that myself.
Right.
And I noticed that when I got into the next relationship, I sacrificed my needs for this person's ego. So I'm no longer meeting the needs that I was taking care of as a single woman, because now I'm protecting your ego because we're in a relationship.
Egos are tricky and dangerous and vicious. You got to be careful with egos. Yeah. Ego, you know, your id, your ego, and your super ego. No, I'm not responsible for other people's egos. I'm responsible for what I say and do.
Stop being faithful to men that's not married to you.
Right.
They not faithful to you.
Yeah.
When they want it, they'll let you know. When they want you, they'll tell you. All this, out here proposing to men and all that. He'll let you know, sis.
So, as a single woman, how long is too long?
I feel that when you have accepted your flaws enough to accept another person's and understand them and go on this journey together, that's long enough. Whether that takes you 2 years or 10 to get yourself together before you ruin somebody else's life with your drama and your trauma.
See, then you say 2 years or 10, I say 2 months.
Oh, yeah,
or 2 years.
Right.
Because I think in 2 months, you can see a person's character. You can kind of see, am I going to be in this 2 months? Am I going to be in this 2 years? Instead of wasting 10 years.
And don't spend those 2 months.
Because you don't get those years back.
You don't. That's a whole lot of time and energy. But those 2 months, don't just see them in their element. Put them in situations where they may have to become confrontational. Yeah. How they deal with adversity.
Oh, yes.
How they deal with dysfunction.
Right.
See them within an element that's outside of their comfort zone.
Right.
Is important. Because you can see a lot in 2 months.
Yeah,
and now,
a lot.
especially over the age of 40.
You're going to meet the representative 40. For so long.
Yeah.
Because now at 51, I'm thinking, if I wasted, I look at some of these women that I see on TV, like the reality shows.
What's his name? Steve Harvey's nephew has a show I was watching this morning, and these women on there.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, something for love or something.
I ain't got time for wait. She's in her 30s.
Yeah.
This guy, he's been, I don't know if he was married, but he had a child, and he's just pilfering, playing around.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what, I'm out. I got to go. I'm like, good for her.
Because who wants to waste all those years? You're not getting those years back.
So speaking of wasted years.
On this bozo.
We got, we talked about rich struggle love a little bit. Diddy and Cassie. Diddy and Cassie been together, 10 years? They just broke up.
Right.
And then Kim Porter, beautiful Kim Porter, may she rest in peace.
Yes.
She passed, and we saw on Instagram that man was devastated.
And he's been with her over 20 years because their son, oldest one, is 20.
Right.
So that's 20 years.
Three children together.
3 children, right.
And it's no doubt, we don't know these people personally, but it's no doubt in my man that he loved that woman.
Right.
And he never married her. Now then we have the beautiful Cassie over here who's young. They were together 10 years.
And he never married her.
He never married her.
Right.
Are we sure that was her goal?
I'm not. I don't know what her goal was.
Because I'm pretty sure she had a good 10 years being Diddy's escort girlfriend woman. Because she was the pretty girl. He got another pretty girl. That's what he keep a pretty girl.
Yeah.
So if you go on all these parties, you got to have a pretty girl. So
See, that's more, the relationships are more about, to me, and again, I don't know him.
Because all his baby mamas love him. Like, he don't have, his birthday, everybody tell him happy birthday. It don't seem like he got no problem.
And when you paying the bills, it's you easy to love, too. You know, let's just
and
some
see,
shit
my
real.
thing is it an arrangement or is it a relationship?
Right. You know, and
right.
Then it seemed like it had more so to do, in his relationships, it was him and his ego. You know, and again, I'm just somebody on the outside looking in, but there was something about his energy that constantly needed to be coddled and massaged and finessed. And what instantly comes to mind for me is his ego. And I remember him talking about his childhood. So for me, I'm always going to go back to day one. Yeah. You know, because that's your blueprint. You know, them first 5 to 6 years is your blueprint. And he talked about being, I think, in a household with a single mom and whatnot. I think. I'm not really sure.
You're correct.
Okay. I think he is, when I see him and what he's become professionally, I have the utmost respect for this man. Okay. I would like to see that manifest into a relationship, and maybe that was a healthy, functional relationship for him. But what's questionable was that for the women,
right?
And that I can't answer.
And I wonder now, since Kim died, you know, what will he do now?
That's right.
That's my question.
Is that going to wake him up?
Exactly.
Is that going to have any type of impact on him to really value a female's presence, time, and energy? Because I think he just took for granted that these women were always going to be
It's an issue of appreciation.
And that was his loss.
Yeah. You don't value that person. Right. You don't value that woman and what she's doing for your life and your family until she's no longer there, whether she passes to the next life or she just leaves.
Right. And sometimes even in other relationships that's not polarized and dealing with celebrities. Sometimes people have to miss you. Sometimes you just need to leave. You need to go. Okay. I often tell people and friends I've had to let go. You know what? I ain't mad at you. I just can't fuck with you. I won't mistreat you. I just won't treat you at all.
Right.
Just real quick before we wrap up, and this is for all three of you. Did marriage make you a better woman?
I'll go first. Marriage made me a better woman. It made me realize more about myself. It made me realize how strong I really was. It made me realize that, I went into it for the wrong reasons. It made me realize that I deserved really true love, and so did he. And that I could be better and stronger, and that I would wait until I found that.
What about your education?
I don't know if marriage has made me a better woman, but it's definitely made me a better person. It's made me a better friend. It's given me a different perspective of just operating outside of myself. He has definitely contributed to my growth and development as an adult. So, woman, I'm not really sure. That ties in. I guess some people say you can't really separate the two. But marriage definitely made me a better person. It's made me more aware. It's made me more aware. It's brought me from being my irresponsible 18, 19-year-old self to this, hopefully this diamond that's being polished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kiki?
Yeah, for me, I would say marriage has made me a better woman. Marriage has made me a better woman because I've been in 2 marriages, one bad and one good. So I know what I don't want, and I know what I want. So I definitely would say marriage has made me a better woman.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and answer Ty's question earlier. The reason I told that man not to ask me is because we had been together. I was with him when I was 18. He was 25. My mother was against it because of the age, but about a year or two later, she's like, "Oh, he's a provider. It'll work."
Oh.
So we ended up, because like I said, I was raised to get a husband. I wasn't raised to be out there finding myself.
And on Mom's defense, she wants to see her child taken care of.
Because what happened when she was growing up, she felt like there's things that would not have happened to the family if there was a man in the house. So that was the solution to the problem.
Exactly.
I was raised on survival.
Right.
So that was the issue of survival. You need to have a partner because it's hard out here.
Right.
You need to be protected because it's hard out here.
Right.
So anyway, I caught him cheating the first time. when I was 19. He had some girl he was taking to a wedding. I done caught him on Black Planet some kind of way. I know y'all know about that. Caught him on Black Planet. He said, I want to be with you. Took him back, caught him cheating again. That's when I was like, all right, well, this we clearly not in a monogamous relationship. Let me act accordingly. And I think we cheated back and forth on each other for about 4 years before we finally was like, let's not.
Yeah.
And then he broke up with me. He ended up getting married. He happily married right now. We don't talk as much, but I know due to social media, he's happy. I told him, I can't give you that. I know you want that. You older than me. It's that time.
Yeah.
I just turned like 21, 22, 25, something like that. I ain't about to be out here baking cookies. Go and get what you want. Go and get what you want, sir. So he did that. And we still have, an amicable situation because of that. But I knew that I was not ready to do all of that. And I wasn't about to tie nobody's husband up until I sorted out my own stuff. So not saying that I didn't come across somebody that could have worked. Of course I did. I just knew that I wasn't going to do them right. So I worked on me.
So he did find you. Because he that findeth a woman, but you was like, nah.
But there was the trust was gone. All that, you cheating, you going back and forth cheating, And if we would have accepted, we didn't have a monogamous relationship, we might have been able to work through that. But we were having a monogamous relationship, so now there's distrust, now there's cheating, now there's lying, now there's all these other things that you can't heal from.
Yeah.
If you got it, it's consistent, it's chronic. So we was like, all right, we cool, we good, but this just wasn't gonna work. So anybody anything you want to tell us before we head out?
I think that just that opens up space for another really good show on exploring different types of relationships, monogamous versus ethical non-monogamous relationships. There's a book I read once by Koso Abusia called "The Seasons of Binto Blackbird." Read it some years ago. Beautiful, beautiful story. And it was the first time that my mind had ever been opened up. I had always kind of struggled with that idea, but it was really told in a beautiful, beautiful way. So I think that would be a very good show to do one day.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I do believe there's different ways to love people. And the more you get stuck in the one way that doesn't work for you, you're going to put yourself under pressure. You're dealing with anxiety because you're not living up to the standards. Accept who you are. Be with somebody else who... But at the same time, if you are not monogamous, leave these monogamous people alone.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah, just
leave them alone.
Stay true to yourself.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, and stop that lying, because that's where all the distrust and hurt comes from.
Kiki, you got an event coming up?
Yes. So on next Sunday, December 9th, we are feeding the homeless at Elevation Center in Atlanta. We're going to feed 150 men. And then on December the 15th, which is a Saturday, we're going to feed the homeless again. We're doing a holiday meal at Gateway Center. If you would like to participate or donate, you could give me a call at 678-267-4480, and I can give you all the details.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Once again, I'm here with Rebel Queen the Poet, Takesha Wyman Smith, LCSW of Hope, Health, and Wellness, and Kiki Perry of Beautiful Ones. I'm El Lachey Farmer of Mad Queen Media. I'm glad you all took the time to listen to us chat today about marriage. Hopefully you got some insight. Take care. Tune in Sundays, 3 p.m. Follow OfficialDofD on social media if you haven't already. #GotGoodD. #Come Get Some.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our show. Tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. at OfficialDofD.com. Follow us on social media at OfficialDofD. Your dynamic, your dialogue. Come get some.